Now, the new audience funnel is completely non-linear, and we know this intuitively that customer journey is not a direct route from hearing about you to buying. It would be lovely it was every time, and maybe the odd occasion. So customers will come in at the top and go straight. That was the old model. Customers now will come in at any point you don't know, and they will drop out at any point as well. So you really got to understand that this is a very porous funnel. It's not a solid tube and a route from A to B. AO, this is a good example of a company, and this is one that happened to me just recently, that understood where I was in that customer funnel. So this was an email they sent me about built-in appliances, save up to £300, because I'd been on their website. We were looking for a new dishwasher. I've been on their website, served cookies. I'd bought something from them before, so they knew who I was. This is the email I got after I left the site without doing anything. So they were offering me a discount, so they were assuming I was right down at the product stage, that buying and conversion stage. I went back onto the website, had another look round, and there are something like 300 and God knows what dishwashers on there, and I looked around again and still couldn't find what I was looking for. So I'd spent some time on there, looked at lots of different models, and didn't get where I was going. So the next email that came to me was this, and this is completely non-branded. It's about solving that problem. So they'd kind of realized that I wasn't as far down in their funnel in that customer journey as they'd originally supposed. I was a bit further up, and they'd responded to that and sent me this, which was a nice handy tool to figure out what sort of dishwasher I actually needed, because I was completely confused by the massive choice. I went back on and eventually bought a dishwasher from them. Now, another tool, if the marketing funnel is a little bit too narrow, this is another tool that I use, which is really, really handy, and is a good way of mapping your customers on a matrix. So as you can see on the left-hand side there, we've got emotional versus rational, and at the top, awareness versus booking right over on the right. So that top left, emotional awareness, is all about entertaining. So that's the top of the funnel. So that's the competition and videos and all that fun, non-branded stuff that we were talking about earlier. Then if you were if this was going to be a linear journey, you'd go down from top left to bottom left, which is the rational awareness. So you start to bring in infographics and press releases and that sort of stuff, where you're starting to educate. And that's where you're solving problems. Top right is the booking and rational square, or booking and emotional square, sorry. And this is where you start to inspire. So you've solved some problems, you've brought them you've engaged them, you solved their problems. Now you want to inspire them to take an action. And this is where you can do endorsements and events and reviews and forums and that sort of thing, and eventually take them down into the bottom right, which is the rational booking. So this is the nuts and bolts, prices and features and all that sort of stuff. And this is where you can actually sell. So you can see, quite obviously see, if you can do some customer research and figure out where people are, you can start to plot them on a matrix like this and see what you need to do to what customers in order to move them through this process. Okay. So how do we go about this? So as with many parts of marketing and business, it is wise to take a systematic approach to content strategy. First of all, and really key, is to do a content audit of all the content of any sort that you've got at the moment. And that's on your website, that's in your brochures, in your invoices, your IT, your emails, social media, everything. So have a really good look and consider the funnel and the matrix. Use those tools to plot what content you've got now, which stage of that customer journey does that content address, and it may be more than one. And once you've got that, you can start to see the gaps. You can see where there are holes, and again, if you can see where the holes are with your content then if you overlay your audience types and audience, where your audiences are in terms of that journey, then you can also see where there are audience without content or content without audiences. Create a content calendar so you really understand across a year or across months or several years even, what content you need to produce and when. You can break this up into many different parts, and I can show you samples of how that works. But if you just Google content calendar, it's quite obvious. But you need to plot everything on there about who's doing the content, where it's going to be, what's the ROI on it, the dates and the assets and everything that's required as part of that piece of content. Get yourself a good content management system and make it align with the type of content that you need to produce. So again, going back to the audit, you can see what content you need. You can look at your calendar and figure out when. So make sure you've got a CMS system that's going to be able to handle, if you're going to do a lot of video, make sure you've got one that can handle, large files. For instance, if it's more copy based, then you don't need something quite as robust. Really, really key, and this again goes back to that calendar, is ensuring right at the start that your measurement and your analysis is in place. So you know exactly what each piece of content is designed to do and for whom it's designed to do it. So get that in place right at the start, put it on your content calendar, even if it's guesswork. To start with, there will be a great deal of guesswork in this because you won't know unless you've got any empirical evidence from previous campaigns. But just make sure you've got something so you can start to benchmark and start to learn. You'll end up with this sort of circular way of working where you're doing an audit, and an audit isn't just a single thing, it's a continuous thing which you will do every year or 2 years or whatever. But make sure you do the audit, produce the content, get it distributed, measure it, and then audit again, so check where you've gone and where you've come to. So what's your mission? Why are you doing content? What is the content designed to do? Here's some mission statements, mission sentences from big providers. So Merit strives to become the #1 travel content publisher in the world. I don't know whether this is actually particularly good. It's probably nice for internally. I don't know that they ever will become the #1 travel content publisher, because it's, at the end of the day, it's just a hotel chain. But at least they've put something down. Estee Lauder's Estee Edit, your source of beauty, inspiration, conversation, secret stories, interviews, insights. Now this is great because this is, in terms of internally, the people who are creating the content right across the business understand exactly what it is they're trying to produce, and for the readers, for their customers or potential customers, they can see exactly what they're going to get. And the Estee Edit is kind of a section, it's a content section on their website. So it's a quite nice one. American Express Open Forum. Go and have a look at American Express. It's actually quite a good website. Insights, inspiration, and connections to grow your business. So it's immediately apparent who this is for and what it's going to do for you and what you're going to get. You also need to define yourselves. Skift do this really well, defining the future of travel. On their website, they have Skift is the largest industry intelligence platform providing media, insights, marketing to key sectors of travel, quality, integrity of our journalism above all else. So exactly what they're saying is there. Core values there, and let you read those yourself. What I think is really nice is the last two, always doing, I think, without fear, and then showing that they're doing things without fear is actually putting the swear word in there. Let's go do it. It's kind of that Nike feel, let's do it, but it feels a little more raw and probably a little more 21st century.